and welcome to a webinar on the 2025 H-1B CAP registration season. I am Dan Rock, and I am going to be walking you through some of the procedures, changes from previous years, and the H-1B filing process over the next little bit of time here. So let's get started. Now, why can't I? Oh, darn it. There we go. This webinar is for general information purposes. While I'm a lawyer, I am not your lawyer with regards to this webinar. Should you want to follow up with us, we are certainly happy to help you with your immigration journey. Any timelines provided herein are based on current timelines, and government timelines do in fact change. So please be aware that some of this information can change over time. So what am I going to talk about today? I'm going to give a general overview of the H-1B CAP, the lottery registration process, some of the changes that have been instituted for 2025, the USCIS's online system, filing the H-1B petition if selected, and options of what to do if at the end of the day you are not selected in the CAP. And time permitting, we will have a bit of question and answer at the end of this webinar. Oh, back. So what is the H-1B? The H-1B is a non-immigrant visa that allows U.S. employer companies to bring over highly educated foreign professionals in specialty occupation that requires at least a bachelor's degree or the equivalent in a specific field related to the position. So I will talk about petitioner and registrant during this. That's going to be the U.S. company that is sponsoring the H-1B. And then the foreign national will be the beneficiary of the H-1B petition. So those are just the terms that I will use with regards to the petitioner, registrant, and beneficiary. So what is H-1B CAP? The H-1B is a wonderful visa type for high-skilled professional workers. Unfortunately, there is a strict cap for new cases. 65,000 new H-1Bs can be given out in any given year. And then there's an additional carve out for 20,000 U.S. master's degree recipients. So if a foreign national received a U.S. master's degree, they have a chance to, there's an extra 20,000 H-1B petitions that are allocated for that. Now, given the flexibility and the strength of the H-1B visa, every year since 2014, the total allocation for the year was exceeded within the first possible week of filing. Even before that, the full cap was exceeded before the first possible start date for a number of years before that. So prior to 2020, a full H-1B petition needed to be filed, and then USCIS would conduct a lottery based on the total cases filed that first week of April. Since 2020, the lottery has been conducted with a pre-filing registration. So there's in fact two lotteries, one for the regular cap and one for the master's cap. They are combined into one registration though. So if you are eligible for the master's cap, the registration process will cover both the regular cap and the master's cap. So what is different this year than previous years? First, USCIS has instituted organizational accounts that I'll talk about these in a little bit more as we go through, but the registration will now be based on the beneficiary rather than the company. Fees are going to go up and premium processing will take longer. The premium processing, I'll just mention, prior to this cap season, premium processing was 15 calendar days to get a decision or a request for evidence on a case. Beginning with this H-1B cap season, the premium processing is now going to be based on 15 business days. So the premium processing will take longer than it has in the past. If you have been involved with prior registrations, you know a little bit about creating an account with my account at uscis.gov or my uscis.gov. This year, they have expanded the accounts. It allows for more online collaboration. It does allow for a fully electronic H-1B process and work between law firms and companies that are sponsoring H-1Bs. It has greater permission structure. So law firms, attorneys, and paralegals have different rights, and a company can set up administrators and team members that will have different rights. There are some trainings on this that USCIS has conducted, and those are available online. The organizational accounts have not gone live yet. They will go live on February 28th, and that'll be for cap-exempt H-1B filings. And then April 1st, obviously, for the cap subject H-1B filings. One drawback with these organizational accounts in the fully electronic filing, it doesn't allow for any other types of filing at this point. So you won't be able to file H-4s simultaneously with the H-1B if it's filed electronically. There still is, the USCIS is still allowing for paper filings though, so we will still be able to file cases the old-fashioned way, so to speak. So on a case-by-case basis, it may make sense to file electronically or by paper copy. And as this is kind of a new technology, USCIS is rolling out. Our opinion about which method is better may change over time because USCIS has had some clunky rollouts in the past. So at least initially, it may be better to stick with the paper filings. This is a new process, so this is somewhat to be determined. The next major change is that the lottery is going to be based on beneficiary rather than companies. Prior to this year, the lottery was based on company registrations, and while one company couldn't register the same foreign national more than one time, there were certainly situations where it seemed like foreign nationals and companies were gaming the system by having closely related entities file registrations. In the past year, the USCIS received over 700, and I believe it was nearly 800,000 registrations, and I believe over half of them were registrations where there were more than one registration for the foreign national. So this year will be based on the beneficiary specifically. If a beneficiary is registered by more than one company, they will only receive one entry, and we believe that if they are selected, they will both companies will be notified, and the foreign national will essentially get to choose between which companies. So it is still possible for a foreign national to be sponsored by more than one company, but it does shift the way that the beneficiaries are selected. And then H-1B filing fees. These are going up. It's getting a little more complicated. The fees for registration is going to remain $10 for this upcoming year, but then in next year, the fee will be going up to $215 for just the registration portion. But the filing fees for the H-1B are going up. The fraud fee, prevention fee, and the education and training fee will remain the same at $500 or for the fraud fee, and $1,500 or $750, depending on the size of the company, for the education and training fee. For the H-1B filing fee, if the company has more than 25 employees, the filing fee is going up to $780, whereas it will remain the same at $460 for companies with 25 or fewer employees. The premium processing fee, as I mentioned earlier, will not be quite as robust in that they've moved from 15 calendar days to 15 business days. They have also raised the fee to $2,805 to keep pace with inflation. So that is another fee that is going up. So the H-1B registration itself, the registration runs from March 6th at noon to March 22nd at noon. All CAP registrations must be submitted within this period, so the company will need to be registered. You'll have to enter information about the foreign national. As we mentioned, this will be based on the foreign national, so you'll register with the passport that the foreign national will be using. You'll enter information about whether or not they're eligible for the master's cap and some additional information. And then the lottery will occur between March 22nd and April 1st. And prior to April 1st, you will be notified whether or not your registration has been selected for the H-1B filing. If it is, you'll have 90 days from April 1st to submit the H-1B filing. So that is the basic procedure. USCIS is actually going to be giving another webinar later today on the H-1B registration process for this year. So some of these details might be a little more refined, but the general information that I just gave will be consistent with what USCIS will provide. There'll just be a little more fine tuning of the details that they provide coming up as early as this afternoon. So assuming your foreign national is selected, or you're selected in the H-1B cap, what do you need to do to file an H-1B cap petition? The documents needed are the I-129, the H supplement data collection sheet. You'll need a detailed letter of support that discusses the foreign national's qualifications, the job requirements. That's important because you need to be able to show that the position requires education, specialty education, and you'll need to be able to show that the foreign national qualifies based on their education and or their educational equivalency if you are combining education and previous experience. The LCA form ETA 9035. This is a form to show that you will be paying the prevailing wage for the position and the geographical location that the foreign national will be working. So with the H-1B, companies certify that they're treating foreign national workers in the same manner as U.S. workers and are paying the prevailing wage for the area. The LCA filing actually occurs before filing the H-1B petition, and it generally takes about a week to be certified. There are specific posting requirements, and I'll touch base on those in a minute. And then moving on, you'll want the educational documents for the foreign national. If the foreign national received their education abroad, you may need educational evaluation. Occasionally, foreign degrees won't be considered the equivalent to U.S. degree, so it is possible to claim an equivalency based on their educational experience and prior work experience. If that's the case, you'll want to discuss that with a lawyer to kind of walk through what education they have, what experience they have, and what sort of evaluation they may need. You'll provide the biographical page of the passports, status documents. If the foreign national is in F1 status, you'll want to provide I-20s, show that they're maintaining their status, information about the company, and of course, you'll need to pay the filing fees. So that is kind of the nutshell of what you need to file an H-1B petition. Going back to the LCA, as part of the process, you may need to maintain a public access file that contains certain attestations, a copy of the ETA 9035 that shows that you're paying the prevailing wage for the position. That there's a notice of filing where you need to post the LCA and the work location that the foreign national will be working, and you'll include that in the public access file. A statement about wages at your company for the position, and benefit summary to show that, again, that you're treating the U.S. workers and foreign national workers the same. That you'll have to provide notice that you will provide you have provided the LTA to the foreign national employee, and you'll have to include documentation about the prevailing wage. That's something that we at McEntee Law would help you set up and organize, but these are documents that you need for the public access file. There's a couple more points that I want to just kind of touch base on when we're talking about the H-1B cap. And the first is cap gap provisions. This allows for automatic extension of the OPT period for a foreign national if they've been maintaining their F1 status, that they're subject to the cap. The employer files change of status petition prior to their EAD expiration date, and when their EAD expires between April 1st and September 30th. And this will allow for extension of the OPT time until October 1st, so that there is not that gap in employment authorization that would allow for the employee to continue working even if their employment authorization would otherwise have a gap. One important thing to notice that is the H-1B petition needs to be filed prior to the expiration of their current OPT period. So if the foreign nationals OPT period expires in early April, you'll want to make sure that the H-1B petition is prepared and ready to be filed prior to that expiration date for cap gap to take place. Moving on, and then the next thing I want to discuss is travel considerations. So while the registration and lottery selection is going on, there's no real effect on the foreign nationals' travel. Their underlying immigration status is what you will be concerned with whether or not they are able to travel. If the foreign national has filed the H-1B change of status petition and has an approved and it's been approved and they have OPT that extends beyond October 1st, they would be able to travel and re-enter prior to October 1st, and their change of status will still take place on October 1st. With cap gap, they do lose the benefit of being able to re-enter the U.S. In F1. Cap gap would only apply as long as they're continuously in the U.S. and maintaining their employment authorization F1 status, working with the employer. So the cap gap benefit would be lost if the foreign national is traveling during the cap gap period. And then if foreign national needs to travel and otherwise doesn't have an underlying status, the earliest they could come in is 10 days prior to October 1st, the October 1st start date, but wouldn't be permitted to work until October 1st. These are kind of some of the more common travel considerations. There are obviously many different individual circumstances, and this is, again, general information, and I would recommend speaking with an immigration attorney on specific issues with travel that you may have. So those are the travel considerations. So what to do if you are not selected in the cap? There may be other options, and this is something that as we are preparing cases, we do note like whether or not foreign nationals have some readily available options, such as there could be F1 STEM OPT time that they may be able to take advantage of, that sort of thing. But assuming there's no underlying OPT that they could rely on, some options are day one CPT, where they go on to a higher level of education, and there are programs that allow for students to begin working as part of their training for a master's degree, and that would allow them to continue working as part of a master's program. Where there are cap exempt organizations, typically high institutes of higher education and research organizations associated with them. So that is another possibility. There are some organizations that kind of connect workers with cap exempt organizations where they could work for a cap exempt organization and be employed by what would be a cap subject organization derivative to cap exempt status. This is an option that's there is potential to work for cap exempt organizations part-time and work for cap subject organization derivative to that cap exempt employment, but the employment would be dependent on maintaining the cap exempt H-1B status. So that is an option. And then, of course, there are a number of other immigration options, such as TNs for Canadian and Mexicans. There could be, depending on the company, the possibility for e-visas, or in certain situations, I've seen employees that were eligible for L1 status. So again, this is something that we would discuss with foreign nationals as part of the cap registration process. And if they're not selected, try and put a plan in place to support the foreign national and companies' goals with the immigration process. So that is kind of the brief overview of the webinar. I'm going to open it up for some questions now. Let's see. Doesn't look like we have any questions. I will kind of jump ahead. Oh, 1 second. Ooh, what did I do? I would like to point out our social media. We have Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So these you can, we provide some updates on current events in immigration and some practice pointers on these on a fairly regular basis. So they are a great source for additional immigration information that you may be interested in. Let's see. Looking for if we have any more questions. Does not look like we have any more question, or we have any questions at this point. So I will just kind of wrap it up. I would like to point out that McEntee Law does have a couple of options for providing service for the H-1B cap. We have a option where we do the registration and kind of verify that the employee will qualify for the H-1B, but not prepare a full petition. And then we would file the H-1B petition for employees that are selected at some point within that 90-day window. And then for nationals that have a particular need to get their case on file quickly, we do offer doing a full cap registration and preparing of the full H-1B petition so that it is ready to file as of the first week of April, to ensure that you can take advantage of the cap gap if necessary, or there may be travel needs for the foreign national where it would make sense to get the case on file. So I would encourage people that are interested in seeking H-1Bs for employees to reach out to McEntee and we will help in any way we can. With that being said, I still do not appear to have any questions open, so I think I will end this webinar at the moment. Thanks and have a great day. If you have any questions, definitely reach out to McEntee and we will assist in any way we can. Thanks. Oh, one thing. Oh, just thank you. Thank you, and we are here for you.